Welcome to Builders of Sylvan Dale. This is a game designed by Peter Ridgeway, published by Ares Games, with artwork by Ann and Seb that was published in 2024 with for 2 to 4 players aged 10 and up. A series of great misfortunes has befallen the woodland realm of Sylvan Dale, ushering a new season of sorrows and troubles and new opportunities. It began with the endless rains and flood. Trolls moved into the nearby hill country and they frightened a herd of Highland boars, setting off a frenzied stampede. As the clans of Sylvandale bewailed the devastation of their homes, the elders met in solemn council. And so a new chapter in the Sylvandale's history began. The elders have called upon you and your fellow architects to design a new Sylvandale, a haven perched in the high embrace of the great trees. Your unparalleled skill will help usher in an era of peace and prosperity. Guide the builders of Sylvan Dale as they construct dwellings and hanging bridges, and as you build ever higher, your glory and fame will grow. Sylvan Dale is played in 2 rounds. To set up the game, the board is 2-sided, and you'll use the board. I'm using the 3-player side board. You'll use either 13 trees in a 2-player game, 16 trees in a 3-player game, as you see here, or 20 trees on the other side of the board in a 4-player game. You'll place trees randomly in each of these X spots, and in a 2-player game you will not use these 3 trees in this grassland area. And for each player, you're going to have each player choose a color and then take all their tree tiles and banners of that color, shuffle the tiles, and then place them in 2 stacks of 8. So I've done that for these 2 players, the yellow player and the blue player. You're going to use, in 1 round, these 8 tiles, and in the second round you'll use the second 8 tiles. And you'll shuffle the playing cards together, and then you'll shuffle these playing cards together and deal out 4 players. I've dealt them face up for this illustrative purposes. And each player will start with 4 cards in their starting hand. You'll place the rest of the deck face down, and then deal out 3 cards face up next to the play area. You'll place all the fame tokens and all the other tokens to form a general supply next to the board. So, how do you play? On your turn, you're going to play a card from your hand, you're going to add a tile to a tree, and then choose a new card. That's your basic turn. You also might be able to attach a banner to a tree and or use a special item such as an axe, a hammer, bridge, or treetop. So what does a card look like? Let's take a look at a card. So a card has 3 basic characteristics on it. So basically there's there's a type of tree that's shown, and trees come in one of 4 different styles or architectures. And the animal on the tree is kind of flavor text, but corresponds to that architecture. So there's this sort of rounded top home. There's a sort of pointy top home with the sort of eyeball-y looking window. There's a flat top home, and then a pointy top type dwelling with long windows. Now you also notice that every card also has symbols, and they correspond to tokens you can get. So there's hammers, there's trees, bridges, and also you see a hammer icon, and those do different things in the game, which we'll explain later. Okay, so those 4 different architectures also correspond to 4 different types of architectures on the board. So we see here, for example, these along this row here are the 4 different types of architecture. Here's a rounded home, the pointy long window home, the flat top architecture home, and the pointy one with the eyeball. So on your turn, you're going to play one of the 4 cards. So the yellow player, for example, these are his 4 cards, and just for illustrative purposes, I've given them one of each of the 4 different kinds of architecture cards. So, for example, suppose he wants to play this card here with the flat top. He's going to choose a tree that has a flat top on it. So, for example, this tree has a flat top, and then what they're going to do is they're going to take the top tile from their round 1 stack and put it on top of the put it on top of the tree, and that constitutes playing the card on the tree. And then they're gonna set this card aside in front of them, trying to collect 3 symbols, 3 matching symbols to get a tree or a bridge in this case, which will do something, and we'll go, which will have a gaming effect, and we'll go over that in a bit. So basically on your turn, you're going to add a tile to a tree, choosing a tree which the dwelling at its top matches the style of the dwelling shown on the card that you just played. And note that once the game begins, you can't change the order of your tiles. However, you can look through your stack. Now, in the rare event that your tiles don't allow you to add any tile because none of the dwellings match the top dwelling on any tree on the board, you can show them, discard your entire hand, and then draw 3 new cards from the top of the deck. The player with the most tiles in a tree has prestige for that tree, and if 2 or more players have the same number of tiles in the tree, then only the player among them with the highest tile in that tree has this prestige. So, because right now the yellow player has a tile and the blue player does not, he's got prestige on that tree. So a tree can have a maximum of 6 levels, 1 base and then 5 tree levels, 5 tiles on top of the base. And the number of levels in a tree is also called its height. At the end of each of the 2 game rounds, players will earn fame points for any trees for which they have prestige. And then after yellow has played his card, he's played this tile, he's going to be able to choose at the end of their turn to either draw one of the 3 face-up cards or a face-down card from the top of the deck and add it to their hand. So suppose they take a face-down card, they're going to add a new card to their hand. And if before choosing a card, though, all 3 of the face-up cards, if they showed either the same dwelling style or the same icon, you can discard all the cards and replace them with 3 cards from the top of the deck. And if the deck is empty when a card needs to be drawn, you shuffle the discard pile to form a new deck. So, banners. How do you get banners, and what are they? If the tile you've just added to your tree has the same dwelling style as 2 or more other tiles already in that tree, you can attach one of your banners to that tile. So, for example, suppose the blue player's turn now, he has a flat top card, and his top tile just happens to also be a flat top roof, and he adds he adds this tile, which matches the tile that was on the top of his deck, and the card indicates where you can play the tree to. Now, in this case, he happens to also now have 2 tiles, matching tiles, so he's going to be able to place his banner there and get 5 points. So, and the color of the trees of their exact position doesn't matter. Only the style of the dwelling counts. You score 5 fame points when you place the banner, and you're going to take a 5-point fame token from the general supply and put it in front of you. Note that banners can never be removed from a tree. If a tile that has a banner attached to it is removed, say for example through an axe or hammer, you can simply move the banner to a lower tile. And also, any one particular player can only have one of their banners attached to a tree, although a particular tree can have multiple players' banners on them. And so let's go over these special items. When you finish your turn, if you've played cards in front of you and you get 3 cards with matching icons, you can get one of the. When you complete a set, you can take one of these tokens and then use them or save them for a future turn. Note that some cards also have 2 icons on them, so the only cards that have 2 icons on them are tree and bridges, so note that you'll be able to use that card for either of those things. So, for example, suppose the yellow player had a set of cards like this with 3 bridge icons. He'd be able to turn them in for a bridge token. And again, what do the tokens do? So the axe tokens allows you to remove a tile from a tree. You can use an axe token and placing it back in the general supply, and then remove the top tile from any tree. And that removed tile is placed back in the game box and can't be used again. The hammers, the hammer tokens allow you to move one of your tree tiles from one tree to another tree, and you're going to place that token back in the general supply, and then remove the top of a tree and place it in a tile from any other tree. The treetops, when they get added to a tree, make the tree look really neat. But when a treetop is added to a tree, you can place a treetop on any tree of any height, and remember, a tree can be up to 6 high, including the base. You can also put a treetop, if you want to, on an empty tree base. Once a treetop is placed, though, no more tiles can be added to that tree, and also an axe or hammer token can't be used to remove the treetop or any tiles from that tree. Treetops are not considered a level and don't count against the 6 height of a tree, and also don't score points. Bridges. So what bridges do is they're going to connect 2 levels of 2 adjacent trees like that. So you see that we have, in this example, 2 trees that are connected, 2 adjacent trees. They have to be orthogonally adjacent. They can't be diagonally adjacent. And when you place a bridge, you're going to attach a banner of your color to it. So, for example, suppose yellow attach that bridge. He's going to put a yellow banner on that bridge. And you can only place 1 bridge between the same 2 adjacent trees. However, you can place a bridge between 2 trees where another player has already placed a bridge. If you have prestige for one or both connected trees, because you have the most dwellings in them, you immediately score fame points, scoring 1 point for each level in a tree that you just connected for which you have prestige. So if basically you would, if yellow had prestige for that, they would earn 4 fame points because the two trees among them had a total of 4 height. A bridge cannot be removed from a tree once placed. If an axe or hammer token would be used to remove a tile that has a bridge attached to it, simply move it to a lower tile or the base. So the game is played in 2 rounds when every player has emptied the stack of tiles in front of them. So once they've completely emptied out the stack, they've played out 8 tiles. The first round ends, and the player scores points for any trees for which they have prestige and any districts in which they have preeminence. So then place your second stack of tiles in front of you to begin the second round, and any incomplete card sets and unused special items from the first round will be can be kept for the second round. Play begins with the person who played last in the first round and proceeds counterclockwise. And when everybody has emptied their second stack of tiles, the game will end, and then you'll score fame points for trees and districts. So there's four ways to there's 4 ways to score fame points. You can get fame points through banners. You can get fame points through bridges, and you can get prestige for trees having preeminence in districts, and trees and districts are scored at the end of each round, and you can keep track of fame points with the fame tokens. So let's go over prestige now and calculating points for that. So if we take a look at this tree has a blue tile on it, and the player with the most tiles in a tree has prestige for that tree and earns all the fame points for it. So suppose yellow also had a tile on it as well, so they would be tied with each with one of their tiles in it. And if two or more players have the same number of tiles on a tree, then the player among them with the highest tile in the tree, in this case yellow, would score for that tree. And each level of a tree, or its height, including the base and all its tiles, is worth 1 fame point. So in this case, there's the base and 2 tiles on top of it, so that this tree is worth 3 fame points, and yellow would get the 3 fame points in this case. Preeminence. So the board has in this 3-player board, 2 or 3 player board, it has a zone here with this dark green area, another sort of islandy area here, and the water area, and then the grassland area. So there's 4 regions, and each of the districts is indicated by a different type of color or background that range from anywhere from 3 to 5 trees. At the end of each of the 2 rounds, a player that has preeminence in district is going to earn prestige. And the player with preeminence in the district earns 2 fame points for each tree in that district, and neither the height of the tree nor who has prestige for it matters. If there is a tie, though, for preeminence in a district, then each of the tied players will earn 1 fame point for each tree in that district instead. So the player with the most fame points after the second round will win the game, and if there's a tie, the player who has the prestige for the most trees wins, and if there's still a tie, then the player who has placed the most banners wins. So that's how to play Builders of the Sylvan Dale. I hope you enjoyed this how to play video, and be sure to check out some of my other videos. Thank you and have a great day.